A place on a steep cliff. There was a robed traveler who was fighting. He was surrounded by a group of people, and the travelers responded by fighting with them. The cloaked man slashed at his enemies relentlessly, cutting down countless numbers of those he had already finished. He did this because freedom was at hand. All enemies were killed without mercy. If there is still something that hinders his freedom, then he will not hesitate to fight. The enemies were helpless with him. It was impossible for subordinate soldiers like them to face this man, because he was named Chun Hajin, the world's best assassin, and one of the strongest of the 10 martial artists in Murim. Hajin also looked very tired. In his tired state, he still had to finish off the many enemies in front of him. But he didn't just give up on his freedom and started fighting again. During his life, Hajin was just an assassin who always hunted his prey, and that was based on orders from the leader of the righteous Heavenly Alliance. Therefore, he wants to be free from all that and wants freedom. Now he looks tired and injured. He was exhausted and seriously injured, but he would not give up his freedom. Hajin is heading to his hiding place to rest. Apart from fatigue and wounds on his body, Hajin was also hungry. He lay on the ground because he couldn't stand it anymore. Suddenly, there was another assassin who was targeting Hajin, and the fight could not be avoided. A fierce fight ensued between Hajin and the assassin. Hajin could only dodge attacks carried out by his enemies. The opponent is so skilled in using the aura sword that he can cut trees from afar. It turns out that Hajin's opponent is the strongest assassin in the southern central plains. He is one of the 10 strongest martial artists just like Hajin. But Hajin was not afraid even though he was hungry, injured and exhausted. The fight continued, with both of them carrying out one fatal attack. And the one who wins this fight is Hajin. With his fast and vital attacks, he can easily finish off the assassin. When the fight ended, Hajin knew that someone was watching him, and he didn't expect that it was the secret demon queen. He also looked surprised when he met the woman. Elsewhere, the elder of the righteous Heavenly Alliance, Young Ilriol, ordered his troops to follow in Hajin's footsteps from the previous battle. In this unfavorable situation, Hajin has to fight that woman. She is the secret demon queen named Quack Sokayo. This woman is an assassin who was also sent to defeat Hajin. But Hajin can't run unless he fight it. Sokayo is actually 60 years old, but because he mastered the aging technique, he remains young. Sokayo was sent by the Steel Blood Fortress to take him, because Hajin mastered the martial arts of the 9 sects. Sokayo made an offer to Hajin. If he gave her information about the martial arts of the 9 sects and the righteous heavenly, he would let Hajin live. But that is not an option. Sokayo tells Hajin about blood parasite, that the life and death of Hajin are in hands of righteous heavenly. Blood parasites can be removed by Sokayo, but with condition of information regarding the 9 sects of martial arts. Sokayo seemed to have succeeded in influencing him, but it turned out that Hajin had expelled the blood parasite 5 years ago, and he needed a lot of effort to do that. Hajin immediately started the fight by releasing all the strength remaining in him, and Sokayo wouldn't just still silent. The fight was unavoidable, Hajin with his messy body and blunt sword. Then Sokayo, with his strength still at its prime, carried out an absolute attack simultaneously, thus experiencing a very powerful aura explosion. The powerful attack reached its climax and Hajin was defeated by Sokayo. At the same time, the elders from Righteous Heavenly came and immediately attacked Hajin simultaneously. Hajin fell in the hands of the two of them with a disorganized body, and now he couldn't do anything with his body so broken. Finally, Hajin lost in front of his enemy, without being able to live normally and freely as he wanted. In a heavenly demon divine sect, there was a young man who was seriously sick and looked very thin. Maybe this is a second chance. Somewhere heavenly demon cult sanctuary. Someone was bowing to his master, call the young lord of the divine cult. They confirmed that a third young master disappeared tonight. At the same time, Hajin dreams about his friend in the past who wants freedom. But he will die because of the parasites in his body if he betrays heavenly righteousness. Hajin woke up from his sleep, and he was born again as a young man and someone came. It turned out he was his servant. Hajin was so shocked that he became a young man who had woken up from his coma for 6 months due to Kai blockage. And the servant tried to explain what happened to Hajin. It was as if he couldn't believe what happened to him. Then he concluded that he had experienced reincarnation, because he still knows the memories before he was brought here, when he saw he met someone whose name he didn't even know. Then the person knelt down to him and called Hajin the third young master. This man then reported something to the guard of the first royal of the heavenly demon cult named Mudam. He reported that the third young master had woken up from his coma, but he had lost all his martial arts knowledge, and what they will do to Hajin. Mudam seemed annoyed to hear the news of the third young master's return, but he said not to report to him again until 3 months after the closing ceremony. In the Muram world currently, there are 3 strongest groups in power, namely Righteous Heaven, Steel Blood, and Heavenly Demon. However, among the 3 groups, Heavenly Demons are the most strongest in Muram world. Hajin doesn't believe that he was still given a second life, but he doesn't seem happy about being resurrected in the Heavenly Demon sect. At night he used stealth techniques to look around, and the news about the third young master being used by Hajin had a bad image. He planned to escape from this place, but currently he had a weak body, because he had just recovered from a coma for 6 months. First he has to restore his body by doing meditation, getting rid of small and rotten danjian from his body, because the 8 meridians were extremely chaotic in his body. Next he expelled the turbid energy from his body, using a boundless technique that he learned in his previous life to survive. Every day Hajin just lay in bed. Only the doctor and his servant visited his place. But he had a reason for doing this, so as not to appear suspicious and still not be careless. They are planning a bad action against Hajin, who now uses the name Xiaoyang. But that didn't work because day by day, the recovery rate of a person improved, and they are planning something again. The one who planned it was 4th young master Hong Yuamoon. Meanwhile, the Hajin conditions are getting better. He can already practice martial arts, even though it's still a little. Hajin did everything he could to restore this bad body, and his servant came to give him herbal medicine. Suddenly, when Hajin drank the herbal medicine, he remembered something terrible, namely blood parasites in his body, and it seemed he could not escape the curse. It's just an illusion or thought from Hajin himself, who still can't escape from the previous curse. And he doubted his present freedom. When Hajin was changing clothes, suddenly someone came up to him. But she was a woman who forced her way into the Hajin room. But Hajin didn't know who this woman was. When the woman approached him, Hajin immediately ran out of this bad situation. He couldn't get out because was blocked by 2 big men. Finally, the door was closed and no one was allowed to enter this place. It seems like this woman really wants to talk to Hajin. This woman was not normal for him, and Hajin asked his servant Manhwa to come out for a moment and tell her who the woman was. He didn't really know who the woman was because he wasn't the previous owner of this body. The woman is Hong Yorin. She is the younger sister of the 4th young master, and she is quite talented in martial arts. Manhwa tells Xiaoyang's relationship with Rin, and it can be concluded by Hajin that their relationship is just an ordinary relationship, and Hajin told Manhwa to rest. Hajin enters the place and says hello, and Rin is surprised by the friendly attitude of Xiaoyang, who used to be so grumpy. And Rin started discussing the contract regarding wonder drug investment with Xiaoyang. Hajin saw the contract and was so strange because he knew that this was a bad act done by Rin to him, by paying some losses as compensation during healing, and how easily Xiaoyang signed this contract surprised Rin. This is also to improve Xiaoyang's reputation, and after all, he will also leave this place. The signing of the contract was complete. Hajin knew of the bad intentions that Rin had for him, such as making himself an obedient, loyal dog to this woman. Rin seems crazy about respect and money. So Xiaoyang told Manhwa to tell the royal guard to prepare a carriage and decided to meet the Demon Lord. Xiaoyang wanted to ask the Demon Lord's opinion on whether this contract was fair to him. However, Rin looks scared because just making a contract is already a violation and will impact her big family. Then also punishment for Rin and Xiaoyang. But Xiaoyang doesn't care about his own punishment. Xiaoyang rushed to leave, however, Rin told him about leadership. But with a body like this, it was impossible for Xiaoyang to lead. He immediately denied it. Rin didn't know what to do to avoid meeting the Demon Lord. Xiaoyang, without thinking, straight away told Rin to tear up this contract because it was harm him. Hajin had arrived at the Demon Lord's place and immediately met him. The Demon Lord was getting ready to change clothes and was seen talking to his bodyguard. The guard told Demon Lord that the third young master Xiaoyang wanted to meet him, and the Demon Lord looked a little surprised to hear this. The Demon Lord ordered his guards to take Xiaoyang to the demonic judgment pavilion. The guard seemed very surprised to hear this. In another place, the doctor was surprised to see Xiaoyang's condition getting better day by day. Due to his body's fast regeneration speed, the affected blood vessels had recovered in just a few days. Hajin seemed to know what the doctor was thinking about him. It must be something bad. And he responded about the high recovery potion from the doctor. But for Hajin, it looks strange. Hajin looks like he should try the medicine because it might help his body recover quickly. And finally, he will meet the Demon Lord. Demon Lord is probably the strongest person in the world Mirim right now. It might be dangerous to meet him now. If Rin didn't act by giving her stupid contract, he wouldn't have met the Demon Lord. Andra informed that the train was ready, and Hajin was prepared to meet the Demon Lord. Hajin had arrived, and he was told to go with the guide to the demonic judgment pavilion. He was confused about what kind of place it actually was. The Demon Lord was waiting for him there. Hajin headed straight for the spot, and he saw many high-level fighters watching him at the moment. Hajin must be careful in this place. If he behaves suspiciously, his life is at stake. He had to stay focused as if he already understood this place. Very unexpected place that was previously so scary. When opened the gate, you saw a beautiful and pleasant forest. Hajin suspected that this place was an illusion, and this illusion was a high technique. And he saw someone standing there. Hajin immediately approached him, and strangely he moved not because of his own will, but as if he was hypnotized to walk there. Step by step, he walked towards there, like going through life and death. His instincts as an assassin began to emerge that this place was very dangerous. But he had to face the current Demon Lord, the successor to 9 heavenly demons. With a face that looked nervous, Hajin climbed the stairs and immediately met Demon Lord Li Chongsang. Previously, someone had entered the demon pavilion. The first was an unknown student and a general, but both of them were very sad. The unknown student died and the general came out with his head up. Now the third young master is the third person to meet the Demon Lord in this place. Will the third young master come back alive? And Hajin started meeting the Demon Lord. Hajin finally faces the Demon Lord Li Chongsang, magic master of the Lord of Thousand Demons. Li gave sake to Xiaoyang, and it tasted very good. Then he asked about his meeting this time. Xiaoyang wanted to ask Li for help. After seeing the Demon Lord, who was once an assassin, looked humble in front of him and afraid. Then he talked about the wrong things in front of him. Hajin wanted to leave this temple and Li complied with this request. Unfortunately, he couldn't read Li's expression and what the Demon Lord was actually thinking in his head. Li thought Xiaoyang wanted to leave the temple because his body was weak and could no longer compete as a martial arts expert. But Hajin tried to explain. Xiaoyang explained everything he said to Li, and in essence he recovered, but his martial arts knowledge disappeared. He needs fresh air outside by leaving the temple. Li was still silent. Li took Xiaoyang's request coldly, and Hajin also thought that asking Li for permission to leave the temple was ridiculous, and he tried to give him another goal, namely meeting his master. Li doesn't seem to like Xiaoyang, who wants to go out and meet his master. Xiaoyang suspected that his desire to go out for his master made Li the Demon Lord suspicious. The body of the third young master Xiaoyang is Hajin. Hajin was very confused and afraid if something happened. He wouldn't be able to fight a Demon Lord with a damaged body like this. Li sent Xiaoyang, and he'll send someone in 3 days. But Li's answer made Hajin confused, and his question about leaving the temple remains unanswered. The Demon Lord returned to his place and asked his guards about what the third young master did after waking up from his coma. As Xiaoyang has done all this time is to recover. Li thinks about meeting Xiaoyang before, that current him is very different from the time before he was in a coma. In the past he was seen as a treasure, but Xiaoyang he is now looks different. The Demon Lord's instincts said that a Xiaoyang had changed instantly after his resurrection, and he ordered his guards to send Xiaoyang to the Gotchokrim forest. Day after day passed, and Hajin was sent by the Demon Lord to the Gotchokrim forest. This made him very annoyed because he breathed fresh air, but it didn't feel good. His frustration peaked when he was sent to a completely isolated forest. When Hajin complained, suddenly a mysterious man came and reprimanded him. This person is very obedient and upholds the status of the Demon Lord, so no one can insult the Demon Lord. Seoryang explained to the man that he came from the palace. When Seoryang introduced himself, this man also introduced himself. He is the personal bodyguard of the third young master, Ma Dongpul. Afternoon arrived, but Hajin still couldn't get out of this forest. It's not without reason why Hajin wants to get out of here. His instincts say that something bad will happen when he uses this body, and he should now think normally. Hajin thinks he won't be getting out of this place anytime soon. So before the time comes, he must strengthen himself with this body and live as a Seoryang. Because Heavenly Demon Divine places a high value on strength, he must use his martial arts knowledge to achieve all of that. Ma suddenly came, and suddenly it made Seoryang very surprised. Ma is worried about the young master's condition because he hasn't had anything to drink or eat for 2 days. Finally, Hajin decided to meditate using the boundless technique to straighten his body and soul. The Kai flow he felt different. Now his cultivation level was level 3. But in his previous life, he was at 4th level. Hajin was a little surprised about this body. He can quickly reach level 3 and maybe soon level 4. In this case, the body has experienced a Kai blockage, and which means Seoryang is a genius. In other words, Hajin could get all his powers back in the near future. Now Hajin is trying to raise his Kai energy to the 4th level. Finally, he had reached level 4 in his Kai energy release, and the functioning of its organs is much better than the age of this physical body. Since then, he has eaten well and slept well. His strength as an assassin king returned. One of the powers is called hypersensation, a power he had built up himself from various fighting experiences. Ma comes to tell someone that the monsters are more aggressive at night, and he decides to go back. Hajin was sure that he would become stronger in this genius body. But on the way home, Ma felt a presence that deeply disturbed his mind. Hajin started testing his strength by running through the air, climbing from tree to tree, and it looked great thanks to his boundless technique. But Hajin wonders if he should learn the techniques of the Heavenly Demon Divine in addition to his assassin techniques. Like the original owner of this body, namely Seoryang, he asked Ma about martial arts, whether any of his brothers studied martial arts other than the demonic sect. Ma Dongpul tells Seoryang that if one of them doesn't learn demonic martial arts, Li the Demon Lord will not be happy. And he immediately sent Dongpul with him to the library. Dongpul spoke about third young master to the first guard that he needed the secret text of the demonic arts. They suspected that Seoryang had lost their memory because his actions after waking up from a coma looked very different, as the Manhwa had told him. The first guard thought he was still the same Seoryang as before, so he gave the key to Ma Dongpul and immediately took 3 or 4 secret texts from the library. The first guard told Dongpul that the solitary bamboo grove was very dangerous, and Dongpul's job was to tell someone about it. The first guard was curious about what the third young master could do in the solitary bamboo forest, and that was the second test of the Demon Lord. Dongpul gave 17 books to Seoryang, and he couldn't help but learn the demonic arts from all those books. And there are books that must be returned within 3 days. Among all the books, there are 3 very secret books, namely about the strongest martial arts of demons. But Seoryang didn't know about this, and it made Dongpul doubt that the third young master had lost his memory. Seoryang tried to tell Dongpul that he had lost all his martial arts knowledge and had a Kai blockage, so he had to start all over again, and asked Dongpul to help him. Evening came. Dongpul was on guard outside and Seoryang was reading a book inside. He had to make sure that no one would disturb him while the third young master was concentrating. Hajin's assassin technique prioritizes purification, but it is different from the demonic technique which prioritizes destruction. However, basically the training method for demonic techniques is the same as the assassin method, which focuses on attack over defense. Currently, it is impossible for Hajin to master the 10 best demonic arts currently, because his Kai has not yet adapted, and all he could do now was strengthen his Dark Shadow Kai using the current 10 demonic arts. The first thing he did was awaken his senses. Hajin sharpened his senses using the boundless technique, and from afar he heard a voice approaching him. Hajin thought it was Dongpul who had returned, but he was wrong, and it turned out to be something threatening. Hajin got ready. Hajin was attacked by something big, but he managed to avoid the attack. Then he was surprised because break through the defensive wall, and it turned out that what was attacking him was a big monster. It turns out that what attacked him was a large chicken monster with 3 heads, large wings, and 6 legs. He was surprised by the size of the chicken, and the chicken monster was also fast in attacking, thus making it difficult for Hajin to avoid it. On the other hand, Dongpul is searching the forest carrying a weapon for the 3rd young master. At the same time, Dongpul smelled blood from a distance and felt that the young master was in danger. On the other side, Hajin was still fighting with the big chicken, and he threw a punch, but it was blocked by the monster. When his hand was grasped by the monster, he responded with a left-hand punch and hit the monster. So that monster uses a sound-blowing technique which causes the Hajin to bounce. Hajin could only hold the attack from Mutant Chicken, and if only he had a weapon, then he could have anticipated it. But at the same time, he had an idea with the bamboo around him. Then Mutant Chicken attacked Hajin, and he was able to avoid it. He managed to avoid the Mutant Chicken. Avoided it by jumping into the air, so he could freely attack the Mutant Chicken with bamboo he was holding, then stabbed it hard into head of the Mutant Chicken. But unexpected, Mutant Chicken had not yet lost, and Hajin received a crushing attack from Mutant Chicken. He was bounced so far that he hit the wall hard. Then Hajin wouldn't stay. He would immediately start to unleash his true strength. He wanted to try out his new powers with the Mutant Chicken. And Hajin prepares to make a surprise attack on Mutant Chicken. Hajin released his demon technique called Heavenly Net 6 Power by sharpening his Hypervision with a function of speeding up thoughts and slowing down what was in his vision. This movement looks fast in eyes of the enemy. Through his sharp eyesight, he found the Mutant Chicken's weak point and started executing it from the spear he was holding with full power. Finally, Dongpul came and was worried about the young master's condition. But the fight has ended between Seoryang and a mutant chicken named Azure Lotus. Dongpul was a little surprised because the young master managed to defeat this mutant chicken alone and without injury. Apart from that, Seoryang wanted to ask Dongpul for an explanation regarding this forest, which was causing his life to be threatened.
Dongpul also explained everything about the solitary bamboo groove with Seoryang, that this forest has high spiritual kai. For example, bamboo has a high thickness and can become poison or elixir. The elixir is demonic elixir, and the bamboo, which has high qi and a high level of thickness, is deep in forest. And it is impossible for them to get there because of the dangerous threat level. It's like a strong beast lives in there, and only people who have advanced martial arts knowledge are able to face this beast. Then the Azure Lotus that someone faced was the weakest among the other beasts. They started eating food from the results of defeating the Azure Lotus. Hearing how scary this forest from Dongpul, Hajin must master demonic knowledge as soon as possible. Then Seoryang praised Dongpul for the octagonal formation of this building walls, but Dongpul was confused. Young master should not have studied formations before, and he was also confused that the young master could learn 10 demonic texts in just 3 days. Young master was also able to defeat Azure Lotus easily with his condition not yet recovered. And according to Dongpul, the young master was different from previous ones he had known. Judging from his character and strength, Dongpul was already suspicious of the young master. Then Hajin went back to studying demonic science, but he encountered difficulties here because of the difference in methods in his previous life and the current one. Even though the methods are different, Hajin still tries the same method. That is, a dark shadow key will be implemented into the heavenly demonic divine, and perhaps this is his destiny. Hajin also began to combine true demonic art and dark shadow tie into one. By combining the foundations of the demonic arts and the secret techniques of 10 great sects, Hajin carried out the process of combining dark shadow key and demonic arts without slightest problem, and this has been going on for 12 days. He also managed to combine the 2 powers into one, and Hajin could already feel the demonic power flowing within him. Dongpul felt a strong demonic aura, and finally Hajin has control to a new martial power, namely the dark shadow demonic art, but at the same time there are monsters trying to interfere, but Dongpul can anticipate them. They decided to go into the forest and defeat several monsters. According to information, Seoryang, who is very curious about monsters, is named Xingsing, and he thought it was strange that Xingsing lived in a herd, but the one he defeated was not a herd. Not long after, Finally, a herd of Sing Sing came to attack them, and Donpil wanted to retreat, but the young master refused. That Suryang would face all those monsters at once. He started to gather energy and immediately released it. The move was called Dark Shadow Demonic Art. The news has reached Lee that Suryang is hunting Red Lotus and Sing Sing, and that made him a little surprised but satisfied. Lee doubts his current strength because he can develop so quickly. That's because the first guard gave the secret demonic arts book to Suryang, and the news was unknown to Lee. Suryang, who finished off all the monsters quickly and strongly. At the same time, Lee talked to the first guard that the development of Suryang's strength was very fast, and it would be even more frightening in the future. A Suryang's strength can still develop quickly, and will definitely be very strong in the future. They still face the monster together when Donpil experiences difficulties. Suryang immediately responded with a powerful aura/attack. Suryang, who managed to finish off Sing Sing easily without any obstacles. Then at the same time, Donpil was caught off guard and he was attacked by another monster strongly. Suryang is again faced with the emergence of a new and powerful monster. Suryang was surprised by the appearance of a horse monster, and this monster was the strongest so far he had encountered in this forest. And Suryang, who does not remain silent, he will bring out his full strength to face this monster. However, this monster immediately attacked him and sent him flying far forward. Hajin was seriously injured by the monster's attack, and he tried to get up again to counter. But his right arm was broken, and this was very bad. This monster attacked Hajin again quickly and strongly. When Suryang gets into trouble, Donpil saves him by throwing a sword at the monster. But it failed, but it attracted the monster's attention to chase Donpil. This monster chased Donpil quickly, but Donpil didn't run without a plan. He directed a monster into the trap he had made, and in the end, a monster was caught in the trap. It turned out that Donpil's efforts had failed. The monster was still able to stand up and get out of the trap, then immediately chased Donpil back. 8 months passed after the incident in Demon Cult Palace. 2 guards were talking to each other. They were talking about possibility of the eldest son of the Demon Sword family becoming the Demon Lord's disciple. But the Demon Lord already had 7 disciples, including the 3rd young master. But due to the kivi blockage he was suffering from, it would probably become clear that he would be removed from the disciples. Moreover, he is now in the bamboo forest, which is known to be dangerous and has not returned yet. While they are busy talking about the 3rd young master, the servant informs them that Donpil has returned, and immediately entered the room, but both of their faces were very shocked. Donpil returned with a terrible aura and with a face that looked very intimidating. What actually happened to Donpil in the forest? Donpil came back not without reason. He asked them for cave pine tea leaves. All of that was a request from the 3rd young master. Then Donpil immediately returned to the bamboo forest. He ran quickly in the bamboo forest. His body felt very light. Maybe because he's been in this forest for 8 months. But as he was running, he heard the sound of footsteps that felt heavy and approaching. When Donpil was getting ready to attack, and it turned out it was the 3rd young master who was carrying a monster. They talked to each other. Donpil wondered why the young master was here, because Suryang was bored, so he did this activity. Suryang took this to eat with Donpil. Then they returned home. When they had finished eating, Suryang immediately meditated and Donpil washed the food utensils. He was amazed that the young master could defeat Lushu with a history of ki blockage. After they had all finished their respective activities, Donpil advised the young master not to go out without his escort. And it seems like someone is running out of time. He has to do something now. According to Suryang, this forest is very dangerous and mysterious, besides the strong monsters and unusual bamboo plants. This is because the state of spiritual Kai is so high in this forest, and their body changes were considered too fast within 8 months. Suryang speculated that his hand healed quickly in just a week, whereas the wound on his hand was so severe that normally it would take 2 months. It's all because the recovery rate is so fast in this forest. If the recovery rate is very fast, but the wound is already healed, the body will not be able to hold it anymore, and what happens is very fatal. Their only way is to leave this forest as soon as possible. But the young master still hasn't been allowed to leave this place by the Demon Lord. But the young master didn't think so. He said that the Demon Lord only gave him permission to go out, and that was to this place. Then can get out of here any time, but the young master won't do that before he defeats 2 more beasts, and head to the deepest forest to get spiritual bamboo. And he was determined to get the spiritual bamboo with his own hands before leaving here. 4th young master Hong couldn't sleep because he was thinking about Suryang. That's because the Demon Lord called him a while ago that Suryang had been there for 8 months, and that made him satisfied. The Demon Lord also spoke to Hong that he wanted to challenge Suryang to fight, and maybe soon the Demon Lord will bring the 3rd member here. The Demon Lord's words made Hong sick, and he was determined to give Suryang problems things if he returned. Dongpil gave order that the young master said was turbid herb, which he got at the demonic palace some time ago. Young master told him to take more if asked, but Dongpil doubted that because now the palace pharmacy was researching the ratio of healing potions based on this herb. Here Haejin also thought about something about the healing potion and was also confused. Healing potion is a potion that a person drinks when he wakes up from a long coma. However, this potion was drunk by someone who had ki blockage, and this herb was too strong to attack demonic energy. Herbs should be for a fit body and not for the weak body, and Suryang talks to Dongpil about clarifying needles. Needles that are intended to tighten muscles, then Haejin is confused about why they serve supreme healing potions and clarifying needles to weak bodies. After thinking about all the previous events, namely the statements from the doctor, Manhwa, and Rin, Haejin finally found out who the perpetrator was who was trying to weaken him. And the perpetrator is the fourth young master. They are both the fourth young master Hong, and Dr. Shin is the who wants to do bad things to the third young master. And now they are planning something. They planned to infiltrate, and the best one to infiltrate was an organization that was far from the others, namely the Palace of the Elders. Because their job is to protect the demon lord so that no one can touch it, that's why Hong made a mistake. They sent one of their own to look after young master Suryang. Hong wondered how he could survive in the bamboo forest with such a weak body. Then Hong told Shin to prepare all the equipment, that he would soon do something about Suryang. It seems like Hong will order someone to do bad things to Suryang by giving that person a weapon. And this time, Hong was confident in this plan. On the other hand, Suryang is getting ready to go deeper into the forest to face the remaining beasts and took the spiritual bamboo. Dongpil tries to prevent the young master from going into the deepest forest because his strength is still not close to that of the demonic elders. However, Suryang admitted that he was not as strong as the 9 demonic cultists, but prayer had rare power. In his previous life, Haejin had the power of stealth, his main strength as the best assassin in times of war, and he will now use it in this bamboo forest because he hasn't had time to use it in this forest, and only fight using demonic power. Finally, Suryang immediately left. Not without reason he brought these herbs, because the stealth power can be activated if the demonic power is suppressed or restrained. However, Dongpil will not let the young master go to such a dangerous place now. Finally, Dongpil gave permission to the young master only to reach the entrance, and the two of them started moving quickly towards that place. But there's something strange in the last place Suryang hunts Lushu. Smelled like a pungent odor. Then they were both shocked to see so many beasts lying on the road. They were both very surprised that these beasts were lying in an unnatural state, and this beast leopard is the second rank of highest spiritual Kai in this place, and this snake is called the Sundered Serpent on the first rank. But Haejin speculates they were defeated by something mysterious. As evidenced by the fact there were no wounds on the bodies of these monsters, the bamboo around them had withered, and it's like being sucked out of its energy by something. Haejin suddenly felt an unusual gust of wind, so he followed the gust of wind. And it is in the depths of this forest. Suryang told Dongpil not to follow him from here anymore, so he went go alone. In another place, the demon lord seemed to be talking to another monster in his mind, namely the jackal. Then he threw out his energy. The demon lord called the first guardian to ask if any other guardians had entered the deepest forest while he was going training in the forest, and the first guard immediately said no. The demon lord assumed that guard number 3, Dongpil, was in the deepest forest, and he was assigned to guard the third young master. That now is the full moon day. For that reason, the jackal showed himself. The demon lord thinks the third number is Suryang, made a fatal mistake because he was reckless in going into the deepest forest at this time. Haejin stepped deeper into the wind, but the more he walked in direction of the wind, he felt a very strong Kai energy center. So it is difficult for the Haejin to walk upright. And this sensation was like the first time met a demon lord. This Kai energy is like not having the exact same intent and power as a demon lord. Then Haejin drank the herb to suppress his demonic energy, so he can perform stealth techniques. After drinking it, his body felt light and easy when walking. This stealth technique is the art of dark shadow god Phantom, the stealth technique assassin King Chun Haejin used during his heyday. Then Dongpil was confused, the third young master disappeared. Haejin walks without the slightest obstacle. His stealth technique can penetrate bamboo, wood, and leaves, and he continued to walk calmly inside. While walking, Haejin tripped over a stone, then fell, and he was very upset. When that happened, he saw a small animal, namely a fox, sleeping, and that shocked Haejin. Haejin met a strange monster. He was like a fox in general, but the appearance is different. But Haejin should not just be careless. Then he seemed to like the creature a little. Haejin left the creature and continued his walk deeper, but to him this felt strange because the wind energy had finished and only reached this point. and maybe the bamboo we're looking for is here. The spiritual Kai energy in this bamboo is very great, and Hajin will take just one to take home, and then he saw bamboo growing in front of him. Hajin started picking up the bamboo shoots. He tried to get the bamboo and bamboo shoots together. Then he pulled the bamboo shoot as hard as he could with both hands. However, it seems that Hajin's activity made the creature wake up. The fox woke up from his sleep. At that time, Hajin ate the bamboo and felt good to eat, but he didn't feel its high energy flowing in his body, even though he had already eaten it. He got up, took his sword, and tried to take the bamboo by cutting it. But this is very strange because the bamboo cannot be cut with a sword, even with all his strength. But Hajin still didn't give up. If ordinary slashes didn't work, then he will use his demon energy to give himself strength, and he was ready to use the moon slash skill. Hajin then slashed at the bamboo with his sword, and his slash managed to make the bamboo split. This bamboo can be this hard because it contains a large amount of Kai energy. When he checked the bamboo, there seemed to be something beside it. Hajin was shocked and didn't realize that the fox was already beside him. Then the fox started to approach him, then Hajin don't let his guard down. Even though the fox had no intention of attacking, Hajin tried to hold the fox, and that's what happened. Then Dongpil was surprised that the young master managed to get the bamboo. Dongpil was amazed by the sword technique used by the young master, so he could cut the bamboo filled with styes so neatly. Then they left, but the little fox was still following the young master. Suryang found this fox in the middle of the road, then the fox continues to follow him. But the problem is, if they want to leave, this bamboo is too big and heavy to carry, and Suryang decided to extract it here, using a boundless technique. Suryang extracted the large bamboo using a boundless technique, so the bamboo became brittle. Suryang is extracting the spiritual bamboo with his boundless technique. Then he succeeded in extracting the sap from this bamboo, which is the best elixir in the world. Young master told Dongpil to drink it first, but Dongpil seemed rude because he was a subordinate. But the young master thinks it's not a problem. He already considers Dongpil his friend. The young master acknowledged Dongpil's hard work all this time because it had caused him trouble. Dongpil felt flattered to hear this. He also promised to look after the young master until this mission was completed. Suryang couldn't stand Dongpil's chatter, so he forced him to drink. At the same time, Suryang felt the presence of a large creature in large numbers. It turned out the young master's hunch was right. They were also surprised why all these beasts were approaching them. Suryang even drank his bamboo, and they planned to escape from all these beasts. When he wanted to run away, Hajin saw that the fox was still here, so he told Dongpil to take him and go with him. The young master will also protect them at the backs. Suryang was preparing to fight the beasts alone, but Dongpil didn't listen to him. Then the young master had no choice but to force Dongpil to leave this area using strong blows, until it bounces far away. Dongpil bounced far away. Then Hajin realized the presence of beast behind him and immediately attacked the beast. Hajin attacked the beast with the heaven-splitting triple slash technique and managed to defeat the beast easily. Hajin this time will not hide his true strength. The demon lord finds out that Jackal has come out, a beast in the form of an adult fox, and he thought of something. What the demon lord thought was the third Suryang. The reason Jackal appeared was because of number 3. After surviving Kai blockage, he changed. Suryang finished off all the beasts quickly and strongly. There was no obstacle for him in facing these beasts, and the demon lord speculated whether the third number had reached the underworld. But the demon lord was happy because he had sent Suryang to the bamboo, and he wanted to know what the Jackal saw in this number 3rd. The time came for Hajin to face the strongest in front of them. This big beast looked like a leopard. The beast began to attack Hajin strongly but also quickly. Hajin could only dodge the beast's attack, and he immediately brought out his speed. Hajin changed his speed into an attack, so he was able to make this beast take the damage by his attack, because he combined speed with his demon energy. However, the beast has not lost and is still standing. Hajin was surprised by this beast because his attacks didn't work at all, and the beast began to attack Hajin so strongly that he flew far away and hit a bamboo tree hard. The damage caused by beast's attack on Hajin was very large, causing him to be seriously injured. But it seems Hajin hasn't given. Hajin will also fight seriously against this beast. This time his martial arts were different from before and stronger. Currently, Hajin only relies on demonic powers. He cannot use his stealth powers. These beasts come in shifts, and their combat power is equal to that of a master. Then he was suddenly attacked from behind and suffered injuries. Hajin countered to the beast's attack and managed to defeat it. However, he couldn't just defeat them one by one. He had to finish off all the beasts at once. They keep coming, then Hajin has no other choice, besides defeating them all at once. Hajin started to get serious, and he began to gather his demonic energy into absolute strength. When he had gathered his strength, Hajin threw the force of his punch firmly into the ground. He used the explosive mountain blast technique, strong force that causes area damage. Hajin's extraordinary strength means that all the beasts are hit by his attacks on a large scale. But in another place, Dongpil had already reached his destination and had moved away from the young master's fight. Hajin had reached the end of the forest, and suddenly there was an earthquake that made Dongpil worried about the condition of the young master, and he immediately put the little fox down. Hajin had to get out of this place as quickly as possible because he was exhausted, or else the other beasts would come back after him. Suddenly, there was a red snake behind Hajin. Hajin was immediately attacked by the snake, and he blocked it with his sword, but the snake grabbed both of his hands. Unexpectedly, the snake was strong enough to break Hajin's sword. Hajin was overwhelmed by the red snake, causing him to fall to the ground. He was cornered because he could no longer let go of the snake. Suddenly, Dongpil saves him from danger and defeats the snake. Dongpil got rid of the snake and immediately saved the young master. Dongpil is relieved that the young master looks fine, and they'll be out of here soon. Unexpectedly, when they wanted to leave, the beasts had caught up to them quickly, and it was impossible for them to escape from here at this time. And they decided to defeat these beasts right here and now, because that was one way to get out of this problem. This difficult situation made them have to defeat these beasts all at once. Then Hajin attacked the beasts with his remaining demonic power. They will fight with all their remaining energy and strength. Hajin was still fighting hard against these beasts with all his remaining strength. These beasts were too numerous, causing Hajin to be hit by a beast attack from behind. Hajin was thrown far away due to the powerful attack from this beast. However, he immediately got up again and immediately gathered his energy to immediately carry out a counterattack on the beast. When all the energy had been gathered, Hajin immediately released his powerful technique, namely Explosive Mountain Blast, an attack that causes area damage, causing all the beasts to lose. Hajin was really tired and out of energy. They really couldn't escape from this place anymore. They were surrounded by the beasts, and the strongest appeared in front of them. Elsewhere, this little fox was seen entering the forest again. Hajin had run out of energy, he couldn't do anything, and he was also injured. Dongpil told him to run first out of the forest. However, when they were overwhelmed, the beasts seemed afraid of seeing something. It turns out that these beasts were scared to see the little fox, don't know why that happened. The young master and Dongpil were confused as to why this fox was here. Suddenly, the little fox released a large energy explosion, which could affect the entire forest. Hajin was unconscious due to the explosion. When he realized the incident was over, and the fox immediately approached Hajin. It seems this little fox really likes Hajin. Hajin was very confused about why this fox always approached him, and the incident that happened today was thanks to this little fox.
Thank you, friends, for joining us on this exciting adventure in the world of manhwa in today's manhwa recap. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on every exciting episode.